Welcome to Shelf Life, the monthly series where I look at games I covered about 6 months ago and let you know whether they're still in my collection. And this time we've got a literal truckload of games to go through. I was clearly too busy in October recording. Let's see if any of them survive the culling and get to Shelf Life. So first, before we discuss anything else, a little bit of a self-plug here. Flame and Fang, Peter and my latest game design, and the first one that we published ourselves, has been delivering to people. I previewed it back in October, and yeah, it is getting to people's hands. Hopefully most, I'm not really sure, I'm not in charge of the shipping, but I know a lot of people have gotten their copies. We have not as of the recording of this video, but hopefully soon. And so far, the reception has been very positive, which of course makes us very happy. So yeah, that is one game, and I'm sure I will keep it as I've kept all the games that we've designed. Then going to the crowdfunding corner, we have the Morrison Game Factory, and this one I also previewed, and it's also delivering or has delivered to people. I thought this was really fun. It's from, what is it, Post Curious? Is that what they were called? One of my favorite riddle kind of puzzle-making games. This was not my favorite from them. That's probably still the light in the mist, but a really solid one. It's not a, back or keep for me because I already beat the entire thing, but for others, it's a definitely big recommend. I think it's really enjoyable. Then finally, for crowdfunding, we have Dice Throne Missions. This is the latest Dice Throne solo co-op mode, different than Adventures, where you play these one-off matches against Marvel villains. And I thought this was great. This is definitely by far my favorite way to play Dice Throne now. I really like how you can get little allies and things from Marvel. The variety of missions is really nice. Would I back it myself? Probably not. I'm a little bit off Dice Throne at this point, and there are other like dice placement games that I prefer. But yes, this is the best way to play it. And if they send it to me, I'll definitely still play it more. I'll definitely record it. That's Dice Throne Missions. Getting to the actual release games, first is Illiterati. This is a word-making game, sort of Scrabble-ish, but it's solo and cooperative, and you're trying to avoid these negative effects of cards. And this one was fine. I'm not the biggest fan of Scrabble-type games, and I didn't always love the negative effects and the limitations and the requirements for the goal cards, but I think other people will really love this one. It just wasn't a big hit for me, so that's a cull. Next is Senjutsu, the competitive or solo game of samurai and ninja combat. And I'm at sort of a weird place for this one because I did a playthrough and then I've been intending to get back to it to do a review. I still have the copy, but here's the thing. I'm going to call it a call. Like, even if I keep it for a little while to eventually record a review of it, I'm not going to keep the game because the final box is a little bigger than I want to keep in my house. I do find the gameplay a little bit more random than I felt when I first previewed it. And the thing is, it does have a lot of similarities to games I love a lot more, like Exceed, so I don't know if I need to keep this one over those. But now we get to our first game that is a keeper. Love this one. This is Challengers! Exclamation point! This is an auto battler competitive with a solo mode where you are adding cards to your deck after each match, and then you're just flipping cards and kind of seeing how they go. There's very little choice in the game, although Beach Cup, the second set, did add a little bit, but it's really just about the fun of seeing how your cards play out. The solo mode is passable. I would not recommend the game strongly for solo, but for two-player and especially like bigger groups, 4, 6, 8, it plays really smoothly with big groups at almost any count. Challengers is awesome. So yeah, this one is definitely a keep for me. My kids and I really enjoy it. Next is Sail, the two-player only cooperative trick-taking game where you're trying to move your ship safely through an ocean. And originally in October, this probably would have been a keep. I didn't love it, but the only other two-player trick-taker cooperative game I have is The Crew, and I don't like that one for two-player very much. But then several months later, I covered Jekyll and Hyde versus Scotland Yard, and that's, for my taste, a billion times better than Sail, and I would always choose to play that one over this one. So, sorry Sail, you are a cull just because a better game in the exact same space came out later. Next is Spellbook, a light Euro where you are drawing these tokens and casting spells to earn victory points and unlock other spells. This one is pretty fun. I certainly enjoyed it. My family had a good time with it as well. The solo mode is kind of a beat your own score-ish kind of race. It's fine. It's not really anything to write home about. And I've said many times before, Euros have a hard time staying in my house just because they're not what I usually pull out with my family, and I don't prefer to play them solo, especially one like this where the solo mode is not that excellent. So nothing wrong with Spellbook. I think light gamers and casual gamers will really enjoy this one. It's pretty, it's quick, it's fun, but it was not a keeper for me. Next, we have Fire Nation Rising. This is the latest in the Rising series using the Avatar The Last Airbender theme, and I love Avatar, so that was definitely a big selling point for this game when I played with my family. And this game is fun at times. You get to build up your team of recognizable characters. The dice placement can be pretty interesting. It's also super random, super swingy. The game is often way too easy or way too hard based on difficulty, so it's not my favorite design by any means, but it is a fun romp to play through. I did not end up keeping it. My kids liked it kind of, but yeah, they're looking for something else in an Avatar game. I think something that would be like more adventure-ish would be more their taste. So this one was a call, but it's a bit of fun. Next, we have Ashes Reborn. Specifically in this month, I covered the Frostwild Scourge, I think the second release in the Red Rain solo co-op mode. And yeah, I mean, all I need to say for this one is that I just recorded the Siege of Lordswall, which I think is like the 5th Red Rain's release. Yeah, so I definitely still have this one, and I'm liking it more and more. Actually, it's kind of gotten me in a chokehold a bit. I'm thinking about buying the Missing Phoenixborn I didn't already get when I originally bought the game. So yeah, I like this one a lot. I mean, sometimes it's a little too easy. You can see my latest playthrough, whenever that's up, that I kind of demolished everything. But they have lots of ways to change up the difficulty if you want to. I certainly could have played on a higher difficulty or changed up the deck. So yeah, I think the variety and play here is great. I like the core card decisions. Ashes Reborn is awesome. Next, we have Lawyer Up, and this added a solo mode in the release of the second season and the re-release of the first season. You are a lawyer trying to win a court case, and the solo mode's okay. It sometimes worked well, sometimes it was kind of like random or stupid, so I didn't find it fully satisfying. The competitive game was also just okay for me. I do like the variety in the cases and kind of the thematic stuff, but also sometimes the card play just feels a little random or weird or goofy. So yeah, this was not a keeper for me, but I do like what it's doing, and I think others might really enjoy this one. And hey, it's the best courtroom lawyer game I've ever played. Not that there's that many competing for that spot. So this is a call. Next is Snapship Tactics, and this is a competitive or cooperative ship combat game with giant kind of like toy ships that you can build and construct and stuff. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. The thing is, it is way too large. I do like kind of these systems like in X-Wing and Star Trek Alliance and that kind of stuff, but this one is actually hard to get to the table or to the floor. It just takes so much space. But I am keeping the ships. I am keeping the toys. I'm just getting rid of the game part. So this is a call for me, but yeah, it doesn't mean that the toys aren't fun. And here's an odd 1-2 punch of coverage. Dogfight is the next one. This is another call for me. It's a dogfighting game with a solo mode. I found the solo mode fine. It was pretty random and sometimes frustrating. The competitive play was a lot more fun. But yes, if I want to play a game from this designer, from this publisher, from this series, I would definitely say like Blitzkrieg or Caesar are going to be your best bets. This one is quick, goofy fun. It's fine. It's silly. It was not a keeper for me. Almost done. God, I did too many videos in October. Next is Apiary. I said that I loved Expeditions from Stonemaier, but then I called it because Apiary was so good. And sadly, I called Apiary too. And that's because, and this is how many Euros go, I played it with my main Euro group, Peter and Jerry didn't like it that much. And that is the death knell for Euros like this, competitive Euros. Although Apiary solo mode does work very well, but again, I just don't, I'm never going to pick, almost ever, a Euro as like my first choice for playing a game when I have free time. And as good as Apiary was, that rule still holds true. And yes, if my main competitive Euro group is not going to play it, then it's not going to get played. But I think this is an awesome one. Again, like one of my favorite Euros in recent memory. I think it is excellent. It is just my weird think and my group that makes it not a keeper. But that is a call, Apiary. And hey, last one, Trailblazers. Very cool game. You are laying down tiles, trying to like connect things back to your shop while getting as many points as possible. It's fun. It's quick. I definitely enjoy it. It's got a cool drafting mechanic. The solo works well as kind of like a challenge mode. But, you know, tile placement games in general are not usually the ones that I will pick out first when I have to play something. So it did not stay around, but again, a pretty good recommend. I think it's a very solid game. It's very easily portable and travelable. That's Trailblazers, and this one is my last call. So only 2 games kept out of 12 releases, plus Flame and Fang is a little bonus. That's, yeah, it's not that many. But let's see how well people predicted my preferences and get to the contest results. So for Group 1, which game tripped you up the most? Challengers got 56% of the votes, so that was correct. Nice job. Sail was the most popular wrong answer with 28%. Senjutsu 26, Illiterati 16, Fire Nation Rising 12, and very few of you thought I would keep Spellbook. That got only 9% of the vote. As for Group 2, even slightly more confidence for the correct answer. Ashes Reborn got a 61% vote share. Then Apiary was the biggest spoiler out of the entire contest. 52% of you incorrectly thought I would keep it. Trailblazers was next with 31%. Snapship Tactics with 18%. Dogfight with 11%. And the lowest one for this round was Lawyer Up with only 6%. And these ones where you have a lot of choices are definitely tougher. So only 13 people, well, actually fewer than 13 people, got it right this time. Jack Rutter didn't want to be entered in the contest. And then the people in yellow have double entries because they are Patreon supporters. So I'm going to roll a d12 and see who our winner is. And here we go. It is a 10, which means Charles Fox, one of our favorite members on Discord, is the winner this month. I'll be in touch, Chuck, to let you know which games you might want to pick from. And everybody else, check the video description for your chance to enter next month's contest and win. Good gaming, everyone, and I'll see you at the next stop.